Today we're going to talk about listening skills. Now they're more important than you could possibly imagine. Now, are you a good listener? I don't believe so, because listening requires a lot of attention, showing genuine interest in what the other person is saying, asking questions, nodding, making eye contact, using the right body language, and making the other person feel more comfortable when he or she is saying something. Alright, there are many instances when it's important that you lend a proper ear to someone, because this is something that really helps, regardless of what the environment actually is. Even if you're someone who's at this workplace, in this meeting where stakes are high, there it's really important that you try to understand and gain insight as to what the other person is saying. Alright, it could be a high profile meeting, it might be a once in a lifetime chance which you have to utilize, so you have to be on your toes in this particular regard. Maybe there's some family member, there's some really close friend who intends to share some really important secrets, so you have to be open to all these things. And if you want to develop a bond with such people, then you're gonna have to give them this vibe that you're trustworthy, you're friendly, and they could trust you with their secrets. And how could you do that? By becoming a genuinely interested listener, an attentive listener. Now, what are the qualities of an attentive listener? Well, an attentive listener makes eye contact. It's very important. You have to keep that in mind. It's through your eyes that you show that you have keen interest in what the person is saying. So if you're making eye contact, the person would feel more confident, and he or she would not find it difficult to open up to you. Alright, then you need to mirror what the other person is doing. You need to mirror his or her actions. It's very important that you do so. You need to utilize the hand gestures which are required at the time, just so that you could give the vibe that you're actually getting the message. Your posture has to be good, alright, and your head should be straight when you're listening to someone, because that makes them feel homely. It makes them feel that you're family and you could be trusted. And you should be nodding occasionally, just like I'm doing at the moment. Alright, a good nod could develop a very strong bond between the listener and the speaker, because it gives the speaker this confidence that you're actually listening to him or her. So in order to give that person this confidence, you need to nod. Sometimes you might have to ask questions, because language happens to be slippery and you don't understand everything at times. It could be a curveball, it could be something that you're not familiar with, or maybe you just didn't understand a certain point. Then you have the right to stop that person and ask questions. And you could do that in a job interview. Maybe the interviewer asked a question which happened to be ambiguous. You have the right to paraphrase that question, repeat that question, and ask the interviewer if this was the question that was being asked. It's perfectly fine that way. So this is how you actually engage as an active listener. These days it's more important than ever, because people interrupt you constantly. They have so many things to do, and you know what they say, time is money. So people are always busy, and they don't focus on what's genuinely important. Let me tell you that listening is very important, and it's one of the most underrated skills out there. Trust me, if you're a good listener, then nothing could stop you from becoming a great speaker, because first you have to listen. And if you're asking questions, if you're using the right body language, if you're showcasing curiosity, if you're showing interest, if you're showing keenness, well, that is really gonna uplift the spirits of the speaker. And this way, the person would definitely get the idea that you're no slouch and you mean business and you're serious about something. All right, so what you need to do is you need to be attentive, you need to make eye contact, you need to nod, you need to use a positive body language, and you need to mirror the actions of the person, all right, who's speaking to you. And you need to understand, or at least try to understand, what the person is saying. Listening means that you're supposed to gain an understanding, an insight of the knowledge which a certain stakeholder is presenting to you. All right, you need to understand what the person is trying to say to you, what the person is trying to communicate to you, what the person is trying to propagate. And if you manage to understand that, well, you're gonna have wonderful meetings, you're gonna have wonderful public speaking sessions, and you're gonna have a fantastic life overall, because listening is something that we do all the time, but now's the time to do it right. All right, never interrupt someone who's saying something. All right, listen to that person very carefully, and if you happen to have any questions, just go right at them without worrying about anything. Okay, we're not really used to listening to people without interrupting them, but try this once. Trust me, you're gonna gain a lot of insight to what people intend to say. And once you master this art, trust me, there's no stopping you. All right, so this is just a small taste of what we call listening skills. I would of course be making more videos on it, so if you want to have more insight into this particular aspect of communication skills, do like, subscribe and share.